Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Alyssa, and for today's video, we are going to be talking all about Rare Beauty. Now, I know this is no longer the newest thing on the market. However, for me personally, when this brand officially launched, I was not in the position where I needed, nor did I really want to spend money on a full line of makeup, and conveniently this Sephora VIB sale is currently happening, and I decided that this would be the best time for me to pick up the items I wanted to try and share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. We are going to be doing a wear test today as well, so I am super excited for that. So if you would like to know my thoughts and opinions on Rare Beauty, then let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and jump into this. So like you saw, I did not get the primer, and that is simply because it had the word illuminating in it, and that is not for my oily behind. So I didn't use that. Today I primed with my Fenty Beauty True Matte Pro Filter Primer. This is very similar to the original Pro Filter Primer. I do have a review in which I compared the two. If you want to see it, I will link that up here. But I'm using that today, and I'm going in with the foundation. Now, this is the Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation. I did get mine in the shade 330N. So this is the foundation bottle. I really like the packaging. Now, I got mine in the shade 330N, which is supposed to be medium with neutral beige undertones. Honest to God, you guys, this is not it. If it matches me in some crazy way, I'm going to be straight up shook, because this looks orange in the bottle. I'm stressed about it. Anyways, if you were wondering about this foundation, if you live under a rock and you haven't heard anything about it, it is a weightless foundation with concentrated pigments that feels barely there while providing buildable medium to full coverage with a natural finish. This does retail for $29, and you are getting 1 ounce in the bottle. I know it is like a serum thing from watching other people do it, so that's why I've been shaking it up, because your girl don't want to get hit with that as well on top of this shade match that I can already tell I messed up on, girl. So I'm gonna shake it up. It does have a doe foot applicator on it, as you guys can see. Now, honestly, I don't really care for doe foot applicators. I prefer things with a pump, as it is just more sanitary. But considering I will most likely be the only person that uses this and then returning it because I can already tell this is not for me, I'm a mess. But it's not that bad. Like, if you're into it, you're into it. So what I'm gonna do, bitch, you done. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh my God. So I'm gonna put a little bit on this side, and I'm gonna do one side with a sponge and one side with a brush, because I'm gonna keep on keeping on, girl, because I done spent my time. So I'm gonna do this side with a sponge, apparently, because that's just what I picked up. Oh my God. How is this neutral undertones? To who? To who? I literally look like an Oompa Loompa. Willy Wonka, where you at? Give me a job, boo, because I need one anyways. So with it right now, I will say that I do appreciate that it looks like it really evened out my skin tone. Really nice on that first pass. Like, I see like a little bit of redness right here on my cheeks, which you guys can see showcased over here. That's kind of where I have the most pigment on my face. But honestly, it's not bad. And because we hardly do anything, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Now, I am going to go ahead and do the other side with the brush, and then we will try and build it up a little bit. But so far, it's really not that bad. I felt like I had to use quite a bit of the product the first time, but again, it was on beauty sponge. You guys know how that is. It has a light smell to it, but to me it just kind of smells like foundation, if you guys are wondering. Oh, that's dark. Okay, guys, now that I have that all on, foundation shade aside, because that has already been addressed, I will say that I don't know that I would call this personally at this moment a natural finish, because to me it is giving me very much a dewy, luminous type of finish, and maybe that's just because I naturally have more oily skin. I will say that even though I do look really dewy, it does not feel heavy or cakey or anything like that on any part of my face, which I do appreciate. Even touching it, which I don't recommend that you like roll around and do. It does not feel heavy or wet or damp, but it is coming off on my fingers. I know you're gonna be able to see it because look at those little orange stripes on my fingers. So it does transfer. I always knew I was gonna have to set this like the minute I put it down and it was a little dewy looking. I knew I would set it immediately, but it doesn't feel heavy or cakey or feel tacky to the touch on my skin, but I will be setting it in just a moment. So we're going to move on to the Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. This is what the outer packaging of this looks like. I got this in 270N. This is supposed to be light medium with natural beige undertones. We shall see. And it says this is a lightweight hydrating concealer with cake-free medium to full coverage that lasts while brightening skin with a radiant finish. We are going to put this on. I'm going to do one side with the sponge and one side with the brush as well. Ooh, this is a weird little applicator. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I know you guys can see a ton of reviews and stuff, but it picks up a ton of freaking product on the applicator. Like, in my opinion, maybe a little bit too much, but we'll see. Gonna do like this and like this. Honestly, this feels like this probably should have been somewhere near my foundation shade. I feel so played. So anyways, gonna take the sponge, and I'm gonna do the sponge on my chin. I'll do the brush on my forehead because your girl is not, she's not getting that crazy. Okay, so with the concealer, I don't really know how I feel about it off the bat, to be honest. It definitely is radiant. I feel even more dewy than I did a second ago. I will say it says it's medium to full coverage. I don't know that I would necessarily say that for the simple fact that like my dark circles are very prominent, more so on the sponge side, but I mean, obviously it's a sponge, it soaks up more product, but I would like to see with medium to full coverage products that when I put it on the first time, it's at least medium coverage. So I don't know that I would agree with that statement, so I'm going to put a little bit more on. Okay, so before I jump into the blushes, I actually want to go ahead and try one of the Dewy Lip Balms. This came from that little mini set, and this is in the shade Support. So this is what it looks like as a little mini. It's really freaking cute, and you pop it open. Oh, is that magnetic? No, it is not. I thought it was. It kind of felt like it. The packaging is really interesting. I kind of vibe with it. But I'm going to take this off like this, roll it up, and this is what the shade looks like. Give you a little swatch. Ooh, that was impeccably creamy. Wow. Okay, I was not prepared for it to have such an intense color payoff, but that's cute. Now, obviously, because it is a lip balm, it definitely is going to transfer. It's going to go places, but I like this color. I think it's really pretty for fall. I would call it like a, kind of like a mauve-y nude. It's really nice. Very comfortable, feels very hydrating, which is great for those cold like winter months. So I do like this. That's very, very pretty. So moving on to the blushes. In this little mini set, I got one Dewy Blush in the shade Joy and one matte blush in the shade Love. First of all, look how small they are. They're so freaking cute. And I can't remember how much this set cost. I want to say maybe 28 bucks. Which I felt was really good because I do know that the blushes are like $20 full size. Okay, so this is the matte one in the shade Love and the dewy one in the shade Joy. You can actually see the difference in formula just within the swatch, how this one is way more sheer and this one is way more pigmented. That's really interesting. I really didn't expect that, but both shades are really, really pretty. I think I'm gonna go in with this one today because this color is just screaming to me, girl. Now, we're gonna use both. Forget I said anything. You know what? We're just gonna go in with both of them today. I act like I didn't do this in my Fenty Beauty review. Like I can't have two different color blushes. Girl, we already started off strong with the wrong color foundation. What's adding a little bit more funk to it gonna do? So, I'm gonna start off with the matte one. I'm trying to think, would it be best to do the matte with a sponge? Because I wanna try one with a sponge, one with a brush. I think we're gonna do that. Now, I do know that you are to use the teensiest little bit of this, as it is apparently very pigmented and goes a very long way. I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to get cute. I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and I'm gonna start doing something. What the hell is that? Have you seen anyone do this yet? That much blush? Like, look how it's like not blending well. Pause right there for a second. I'm gonna take the other shade and I'm gonna do it over here. I'm gonna just go ahead and do it because whatever. And I'm gonna use the brush. Okay, wow. That is beautiful. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you in real quick and show you the difference before I try and do anything else with this one. So, this is the Dewy Blush and this is the matte blush. First of all, the brush really moved the product around way better than the sponge. This looks like a really crappy splotch on my face, where this looks really nice and blended out and just has a really nice blush to it. It may be because of the formula, because this is more matte, but I truly felt like this kind of pulled up some of my makeup underneath where I had the powder. Not bad, but this just looks way better over top of it. So I'm gonna do, because I mean, how much crazier can I really look? I'm gonna put a little bit more of this blush on, and I'm going to use the brush to see if this helps more. Oh, 100%. So I can go ahead and tell you that I do not like the blushes with a sponge, unless maybe you're gonna use it underneath your makeup. Okay girls, so we are back and we have got most of our face done. I will have all the products that I used on my entire face linked down below, so definitely check there if you're curious. I do want to go ahead and just touch on this lip product. So this is still the Support Lip Balm. I would say that this is really impressive because the color has lasted quite a bit of time and still feels pretty dang pigmented, and I like how like neutral it is, so it's so easy to like keep in your purse and pop on. So I do want to mention that real quick just because we're about to try on some of the lip souffles. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So the last one that was in this mini pack that I had been using is the lip souffle in the shade Transform, and then I also have Inspire and Fearless in here, so I will go ahead and pull these out. So here are the shades in the world's funkiest swatches that you have probably ever witnessed. So this one right here is Fearless, this one right here is Inspire, and then this one right here is Transform. I do like the shades. I think they are all really pretty and really different. So I'm going to start off with the shade Fearless, which is the more cool toned shade. I was excited to see a cool tone shade because I don't reach for a ton of those on my own. So let's see. Oh, that does feel really good. So I am finding that I do have to dip in again to finish my mouth. So I'm gonna do that. I do like the feel of it. Like, it's soft, it's souffle-y. It kind of feels like it moves around a bit, but it's very, very lightweight. So I do like that. So this again is the shade Fearless. Okay, wow. I really like the look of this shade. The color is very, very pretty. On camera, it honestly is pulling like I would have assumed this pulls. Now, when you look at this in the bottle, it looks really reddish. Like, it looks orangey and corally. On Selena, to me, it pulls more red. So, to me, it's funny because in the bottle, this looks like it should be like a burgundy wine color. On my mouth, especially on camera, it is pulling very red. Almost like a true red. But I don't know, I like the color. I will say with doing this, I felt like I had to go over it a little more. Like, this shade was a little more patchy in some areas. And I found that while this one I just kind of swiped on however I wanted to, this seemed to work better when I swiped in the same direction instead of moving the product around. So do keep that in mind. But the color, that's pretty. That's so pretty. I like this one a lot. Okay, so there is the shade Inspire. I will go ahead and tell you right off the bat, on camera it is pulling way more vibrant than it is in person. To me, it is giving me vibes kind of like my Alexis Ren and ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in Little Weapon. I'm going to swatch this next to it because I'm just curious. Yeah, that's kind of giving me really similar vibes. This one's just pulling more pink, where this one pulls more like a coral. So it's definitely pulling way more vibrant on camera than it is on me in person. I like the color, but I will be honest that to me, on me, and truthfully, when I have watched many people's reviews, this color ain't for everybody. Like when Selena created her signature shade, is for Selena. It doesn't look bomb on everyone, which is kind of bummy because you would think when you are putting out stuff and you're like, this is Selena shade, this is this, people are gonna wanna get that shade, especially Selena fans, and it's not a color that's made for everybody, girl, and some of y'all are not ready to have that conversation. With that being said, we are going to pause here. It is currently 1:43 p.m. and I'm going to leave this on as long as I possibly can. I probably won't do a check-in in between now and the end just because I have about 1,000 other things that I need to do today. If I remember and I do it, then great, you're welcome. And if I don't, then I will just touch base with you when I am tired of wearing this and give you all my final thoughts. Okay, guys, I am back. And it is currently 11:16 p.m. Oh, I am ready to take this makeup off, especially these lashes, girl. But I'm here, I'm doing it for you guys. So this is what my face looks like now after, what was it like? Probably around 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 9 hours or so, give or take a bit, because I honestly can't remember what the timestamp originally was. But this is what my skin looks like. I look dewy. I look very dewy. Now I will say I did not touch up, I did not blot, I did not powder, I didn't do anything because I wanted to see how it was going to just be on my skin. I will say that even though looking in the mirror I am extremely dewy, it doesn't feel heavy or cakey, and I don't feel greasy, which is a positive in and of itself. Touching it, it definitely doesn't feel too bad. Like I think if I felt like blotting and powdering, I could probably make it last a little bit longer, but I just didn't feel like doing that. So first thing I want to start off with to give my final thoughts off, we'll go from like the lip products and move on to the complexion products, kind of go backwards this time. So I definitely, like I mentioned earlier, I do like the little lip balms. I am more happy that I have this in a tiny mini size because while I do like it, I have other products that kind of do similar things, so I wouldn't run out and spend my money on this per se, but having this little tiny one, I'm not mad at it. I will use it as I do like the color. Again, this one was in the shade Support, but I don't think this is a product that you have to go out and spend the money on it. Like, it's not revolutionary, it's nothing like that. It just is a nice and comfortable product, and obviously I didn't wear that one for an extremely long period of time, so do keep that in mind. As far as the matte lip souffle cream, whatever they are, they're not bad. So this is the shade Inspire, and I did not wear this from like whatever time I started because I did like film a couple other videos, so I did change my lip color, but I have had this on for probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 4 or 5 hours, give or take some time there. And this is how it looks. I did just kind of go over to a friend's house. I did have a couple drinks, and like this is what it looks like. It did pretty much what I expected it would do, considering it does not dry down and it easily transfers. So it just kind of depends on what you want. If you are someone like me who prefers liquid lipsticks that don't go anywhere and you don't have to touch up and your mouth won't look like this at the end of the night, I wouldn't say run out. But if you were someone that loves liquid lipsticks and you don't really like drying formulas and you want something more comfortable and more movable and you don't mind doing touch-ups, these are not bad. I do not hate them. Like I mentioned with this little lip balm, I'm happy that I got them in the mini size because while I like the colors, it's not my favorite lipstick formula that I have for sure. For the blushes, again, I will say as an overall whole, I love the mini packages. I loved the fact that I got to try so much for a quarter of the cost. I think it was great. And I liked the blushes. I think that it still looks very pigmented on both of my cheeks. Again, I put Love on this side and Joy on this side, so matte and dewy. And I like it. I think they both look really, really nice. I honestly probably will not buy any more of these just for the simple fact that I think these will last me quite a while. And like I said, I don't reach for a ton of liquid blushes. Again, that may change over time as this will be the first like cold season in which I'm wearing cream blushes, so we shall see. But I definitely think that these two colors were very, very beautiful. I like the matte one a lot, but I definitely would like to see how this looks under my makeup first and maybe see if I like it a little bit better then, because in the very beginning it was kind of pulling some of the makeup, some of the powder off of my cheeks. It definitely doesn't look bad and you really can't tell, but that was something that happened. And I definitely think using these with a brush is 10 times better than using them with a sponge, at least in my opinion. Between the two, if I'm keeping it honest, off first impressions, the dewy one was my favorite, as I think that it blended better. It has slightly better color payoff. Moving on to the two complexion products. So I don't like the concealer. I don't like the way it looks on my under eyes at all. And I don't know if that's because the foundation shade just kind of is throwing me off. I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that like my under eyes look crepey as heck. And I will zoom you a little bit, get you all up here in my glow, and let you just see what I'm working with. But honestly, you guys, like, they just look so wrinkly and so crepey, and just like even when I pull it now, like you can definitely see like the lines where like the foundation has like separated. It just looks dry, and considering it is marketed as a radiant product, as with a radiant finish, I'm not getting it. Maybe it's because I have to set my under eyes. I don't know if that really made a huge difference, but I don't like it at all. It doesn't feel bad or anything, but it just doesn't look good. And in my opinion, it really doesn't look like I have a lot of stuff underneath my under eyes. My dark circles are very, very, very apparent, and to me, that's just a no-go. So I will not be keeping the concealer. I will be returning that for sure, as I just don't think it is worth it. I have other concealers, and drugstore concealers at that, that are 10 times better and a quarter of the price. So that is a no from me. With the foundation, so as you can see, I look extremely dewy, as we have already covered. But I feel like it doesn't look terrible. It's not great. Like, do not get me wrong. Like, I am just a glistening away. But I don't think it's settled anymore, especially on my forehead, if you guys can see that. I still feel like I look really dry and kind of crepey in this area, which is very bummy. In here, I just look glowy. Like, I am glistening. The same on my chin. It hasn't really broken down too bad. It did right here. As you can see, it looks like I'm not wearing any foundation in this area, which is kind of strange, and I do not know why. Now, granted, I've had this on for like 9 hours or so, so I'm not sure. My thing with the foundation is, like, I'm not in love with it at all under any circumstance, but I almost wonder if I want to try it with a couple more primers, maybe different powders, and just kind of see what it does for me, and like see how my skin reacts as it continues to get a little colder. I definitely have to get another shade, as this is just not going to work for me at all. So I may do that. I just think it's going to depend on when I go in the store and kind of see what they have to offer, because this really threw me off, because like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm normally pretty dang spot on, and the description of this shade is what I would normally be. It's how almost all my other foundation shades are described to a T. So for it to be so different is a little confusing, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I've never been quite this far off when it came to picking a foundation shade. So I may see if I can get someone in Sephora to kind of help me out. They can't really shade match you, but they kind of like take other things, like your shades and other things, and try to figure it out. So maybe I can see that, or maybe I just get this, but like this looks really light. I don't know. We'll see. I'm honestly not 100% sure on this. I can't tell if I totally hate it or if I'm really willing to kind of see if I can finesse it in another way. I'm trying to remember that I am a more oily individual, and this, it's just, to me, in my opinion, it's quite luminous. So I would say if you have really, really oily skin, maybe steer clear of this, as I just don't think it's going to be your friend. Because even with using a mattifying primer and setting my entire face, I mean, girl, I am dewy. Like, real dewy. So I don't know, I will leave my updated thoughts in the description, just since I'm kind of wishy-washy on this one thing alone. But as just an overall recap, again, no to the concealer, maybe to the foundation. I like the other products, but I definitely think the minis are the way to go, unless you are someone who, again, loves liquid blushes. And even then, depending on your collection, I think you can do without the big ones, unless of course you can't get the shade you want in a mini. But I think the mini lip souffles are just where it's at. I just like the fact that, like, I'm not overly in love with anything, so I definitely don't feel like I'm missing out by not having anything in the full size. So yeah, you guys, that is it. This wraps up all my thoughts and opinions on Rare Beauty. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and if you hit that notification bell, you will never miss an upload from me. And last but not least, you can also come follow your girl on Instagram at Alyssa N Pope, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!